You've got to give it to crypto. If nothing else, it's a bit of fun and it's pretty exciting. I don't know any sort of asset which can half in value in literally a few days and then perform a 3x in the weeks following. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted. But before we see how my portfolio's done over the last 2 months, I wanted to share my thoughts on the insane returns you can get on DeFi and then answer the good old question of, is it too good to be true? I was actually prompted to discuss this subject when I got the following message from one of my best friends with a query of how is somebody claiming they can make $2,500 every single month when they've invested £250,000 in crypto and more specifically stablecoins. As always, if you want to gain exposure to crypto or you quite like the look of crypto.com, then why not use my link in the description below, which gives you $25 of free crypto for just creating an account. It's really that simple. If you want to go one step further, then you could always stake $300 worth of their native token, CRO, to unlock their Ruby Red card, which is backed by Visa. Anything you spend on this debit card, you'll get 2% back on any purchase that you make in crypto. So it means you can build your own crypto portfolio without really spending a direct penny on it. Not a bad deal. Right, let's talk DeFi. You all might have seen the insane returns some platforms are offering in return for you lending them your crypto. It could be in the form of staking, or it could be providing liquidity to liquidity pools. Basically, anywhere where people want to borrow your crypto. If you quickly Google the best DeFi returns, you'll find multiple platforms which are offering between 10 to 12% on various popular cryptocurrencies and tokens. But I have seen some that have actually shown returns of up to 500%. So if you're a hodler of crypto, then it's a bit of a no-brainer to actually get your crypto making more crypto, right? On top of this, if you look at what banks are offering at the moment in terms of interest rates, then it's actually lower than inflation. So the traditional safe methods of making a return basically offer no incentive. So when you see someone advertising that they're getting $2,500 a month while staking $250,000, you'll quickly work out that means they're getting around £1 a month for every £100 that they're lending, but absolutely nothing. You might be asking, where the hell do I sign up for this? If you look at just the raw numbers, it's something we should probably all be doing. But what I'm here to do today is actually to highlight some of the glaring issues with these returns. But don't get me wrong, I've not got anything against DeFi or any of the returns you might get. I currently have over £2,500 being staked on my crypto.com app, with some of it getting between a 6% return or even as high as 10% return on some of it. But in doing so, I'm realistic that I'm open to the inherent risks of DeFi, which significantly exceed the risks that you might get with either government-backed bonds or corporate debt bonds, for example. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the 3 major risks you need to know about before putting all your life savings into DeFi. After all, promises of extremely high returns in any part of life normally come with catches, and DeFi is definitely no different. The first is impermanent loss, which is associated with lending to liquidity pools. In a nutshell, this happens when your contributions to the liquidity pool lose value unequal to any gains or losses that you might have made if you hadn't have taken part. So in simple terms, it's a bit like giving the bank £100 and then when you come to collect it, there's only £80 left. This happens due to how the systems work which are used for the DeFi liquidity pools. DeFi pools need to maintain a certain ratio of assets. So if we make up an example, let's say that the liquidity pool that we might be looking to invest in is for Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And the ratio they need to keep is 1 Bitcoin for every 200,000 Dogecoin. DeFi pools rely on arbitrage traders to align pool asset prices with their market values. If the price of Dogecoin is $1, but the value of Dogecoin in the Bitcoin Dogecoin liquidity pool is only 90 cents, then these traders will come in and add Bitcoin as they're financially incentivized to do so, thus arbitrage trading. The problem with this is that this can cause the ratio to slip away from that 1 to 200,000 ratio that we talked about before. And the pool corrects itself by artificially increasing the price of the undervalued coin and reducing the value of the overvalued coin to encourage these traders to rebalance the pool. Once the pool rebalances, this rise in value is often less than the actual value of the assets, leading to impermanent loss. This is a known flaw with liquidity pools, so most do take steps to stop this. This has been done by putting a trading fee on any transactions with a liquidity pool, which can then be put towards the rebalancing costs of the said liquidity pool. Impermanent loss shouldn't be something that scares you away from DeFi, but it does need to be factored in when looking actually to the risk of your money once you put it in there. The second is flash loan attacks, and I'm not going to pretend I understand these inside out completely perfectly, But basically, it's actually possible to borrow significant larger amounts of assets called flash loans with crypto than you'd normally be able to do in the real world with traditional banks. Through flash loans, bad actors, or how I put it, criminals, can actually use this to significantly manipulate pricing. A recent example happened when a flash attack happened against the yield farming aggregator Pancake Bunny. In short, they managed to crash the price of Bunny by 95%, with the thieves pocketing over $3 million without any sort of repercussions. If you'd invested $250,000 into Bunny, then that would be now worth just $12,500. And lastly, we have the Defi Rook Pull. What will happen is where a DeFi developer will create a cryptocurrency, they'll then pair it with a very established one, so Bitcoin, Tether, something like that. Then they'll offer crazy returns on that liquidity pool in order to really drive the demand. They'll then use a backdoor in their own smart contract of their cryptocurrency, where they'll actually drain the established cryptocurrency from the pool. And what will happen is they'll leave the investors with their worthless crypto as a result. This actually famously happened just last year when a SushiSwap developer unexpectedly liquidated all their sushi tokens, making him over $1 billion and costing investors the same amount. So between all these three, it actually makes DeFi fraud a multi-billion-dollar industry and actually accounts for over 99% of all blockchain-based fraud. So based on these three, I'm not going to be putting my house into this anytime soon. But as always, I would love to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below. So as promised, let's check in on my crypto.com account. So for anyone who's not been following my portfolio updates since March time, I started out by investing £2,000 into my crypto.com account. In that time before now, it's reached the lows of £1,900, all the way up to about £3,900 sometime around April, I believe. During my last update, my portfolio actually dropped down to a valuation of £2,300 back in July after reaching that peak of £3,900. And actually, when I factored in how many referrals I'd had on the platform, I think I was actually in a slight loss at the time. But since that pullback, there's actually been a bit of a resurgence in crypto, with Bitcoin going from about £22,000 all the way up to £33,000, which is normally the main leader for the whole market. So since my last update was worth £2,200, I'll just see where it is now. Actually, in the last few weeks, it actually got up to somewhere around about £5,600, but there has been a bit of a sell-off since. Yeah, it's at £5,071, so yeah, it's come back with a bit of a vengeance. But in terms of what's really been driving my account, it's not really been Bitcoin at all. It's mainly fallen down to two certain cryptocurrencies, Solana being one and Cardano being the other. So if I just show you the insane run that Solana's been on, if you give me 2 seconds, you can see here that I've got just short of 6 Solana, 5.75, and that's worth just short of £800. Just see how much this has grown since I bought it back in March. So I bought that 5.75 Solana back in March for £58.30. So I've nearly made £750 just on Solana. But as I said, it's not just Solana, it's also Cardano. You can see the valuation of Cardano here because I need to go to a few different places to get the information. So there you can see Cardano is worth £485 in my portfolio at the moment. But I bought this for, if I can find it, give me 2 seconds. I bought this also back in March, but I did buy another amount shortly before that. Cardano. It's only showing that I've got less than one ADA in here because I've got the rest of it in my crypto earn function. So I'll look at the very start. Lots of crypto earns. So yeah, so bought just short of £200 worth, and I bought a little bit more after that. Yeah, so I've bought roughly £200 worth, and it's nearly worth £500 now. So that's really, really grown my portfolio. The only other change that I've made since then is that I was getting quite a lot of referrals through, which I'll show now because I don't want to make it be misleading on how much I'm making from this. So you can see I've made $1,925 in terms of referrals. A lot of that goes into CRO, which I actually haven't sold a lot of it. I actually like to kind of move it about. So a lot of it was in the Supercharger event, but I've got to say, even though the returns are pretty good, they were all in coins that I didn't really value or see a lot of value in. So what I've actually done, I've actually decided to put that into my crypto earn feature. So I said before I had £2,500 in there. I've now got over £3,000 in there because I'm staking CRO. What's great is I'm actually getting 6% back on my CRO, which is pretty mind-blowing for me, which again is DeFi, so it does come with risk, but I think it's fantastic. So yeah, you can see that I've made 8 points CRO over the last 10 days, which isn't too bad if you ask me. I've got to say, going forward, I do want to make some changes though. my Bitcoin allocation is far too low. So if you think that Bitcoin has about a 45% dominance over the whole market, it should really be quite high for me. But Bitcoin is my 6th largest position. So I have literally 1% of a Bitcoin at £310, which is far, far too low, in my opinion, for any portfolio. So I might be looking to sell some of that CRO in the future just to build up my allocation to Bitcoin in the future. Anyway, that's all for this video. See you in the next one.